everyone in Social Work 668. Welcome to week 7. Today, we are going to do an overview of formative and process evaluations. We're going to touch base a little bit on your upcoming assignment, the logic model, which is going to be here before you know it. And we're going to look forward to the remainder of the semester because guess what? We are at midterms. The rest of the semester is going to fly by. So bear with me as I share my screen and we will get started for the week. Okay, so we are going to learn about formative and process evaluations because the way that this course is designed is that we've completed the needs assessment. In the whole scope of program evaluation, we move from needs assessments to doing logic models, which we are really trying to implement our new program or service. And then we're going to enter into the last phase of the course where we are going to formulate a plan to evaluate the success of our program that we have implemented. And I just want to start out by saying in my class historically, 99% of the students do something called an outcome evaluation. So as you will read in the textbook this week, there is formative evaluations, there's process evaluations, and there are outcome evaluations. And we're going to go over the differences between those a little bit later on, but just keep in your mind the idea that most students do what's known as an outcome evaluation. However, it's important to you as practitioners to also know that there are two other very important types of program evaluations known as formative and process evaluation. Okay, so last week we did two very important things. The first thing we did is that we turned in our needs assessment assignments. So I am just about done grading those. If you have turned yours in on time, I am completely done grading yours. I am working with those of you last week that had illness or family emergencies to help you get caught up. But in the meantime, we introduced assignment 2, which are our logic models. So last week's journal and this week's discussion board have to do with logic models and understanding them, implementing them, writing about them, drawing them in the diagram form. And it's really cool. And it's an assignment that allows you to use your conceptualization and creativity skills to look at all the things that it takes to implement a program, what we need to input, what kinds of outcomes we can look at measuring. And we will continue on with our work on that this week. In addition to that, we are going to learn about formative and process evaluations. So formative evaluations really have to do with feasibility. So the key words with formative evaluation are feasibility and acceptability. We do not, as social workers, want to implement any program or service that is not feasible to implement and is not acceptable to our community partners or a population of focus or our clients. So formulative work in this area to really understand if this work is necessary and needed and will be accepted is usually conducted with a new program or activity in the very developmental stage or when an existing program is being adapted or modified. So one of the interesting things about reading your needs assessments this week is that some of you actually decided to maybe modify an existing program or service. And that's also really exciting and acceptable for this course and this assignment. But typically in program evaluations where we have a lot more resources and time, we engage in what's called a formative evaluation. The second is process evaluation. So the key word to think of when we think of process evaluations is the word implementation. So this is in the realm of implementation science. So we are going to start to propose a whole bunch of activities and resources to try to implement our program, meaning there will be training sessions, there'll be development of, let's say, materials and manuals. There might be courses that workers need to attend to learn about implementing the new intervention for. It is also our job as evaluators to make sure that the new program or service or offering is being implemented in a way where everybody is onboarded, everybody has exposure to the same amount of sessions, the same amount of materials. So we also engage in process evaluation to make sure that everybody or every site that we work with, all of our project partners have access to the same materials, the same coursework, the same training, so that they can effectively implement the evaluation. So this often looks like counting sessions attended in terms of training. It often looks at maybe pre-post measures of knowledge. Let's say you're implementing computer-based cognitive behavioral therapy. Everybody needs to be up to date on what that program or what that service can look like. So this week, we are also in our soft chalk and reading going to cover mission and vision statements. These are incredibly important to write when developing a new program or service. Sometimes we also need to expand the mission and vision statements of the organizations we work with when we are expanding the array of services and accounting for a new program. We have soft chalk activities this week. We have discussion boards. So this week I want you to actually do a rough drawing or sketch of what your logic model looks like based on the work that you've done last week in week 6, so that we can actually get a visual of each of our logic models and also get feedback from your fellow classmates. And we have a quick mid-semester survey that I'd like to give you. This is just to make sure that I am accommodating all of your learning needs. I'm checking in with you to see how I can best support you for the remaining half of the semester. So please fill out that survey and give me feedback. I'm excited to know more about your experiences. So let's look ahead at the second half of the course. Our logic model is coming up very soon. It is due the 6th of March, which is going to be here before we know it. And remember, it's always, everything is due Monday, 11:59 at night on the 6th of March. We will then move into our program evaluation, which is due the 10th of April. And then lastly, very shortly after that, we are going to have our program evaluation professional presentations, which is really a PowerPoint or presentation version of your program evaluation paper. I also want to tell you that next Monday at 3 till 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be hosting an asynchronous session similar to how I did for our needs assessment assignment. That just gives us a chance to connect if you can make it. I'm also going to embed a Zoom link to that asynchronous / Q&A session in our weekly PowerPoint, or sorry, not weekly PowerPoint, our weekly Blackboard this week. Okay, so logic models. What do we need to know as we kind of wrap up our learning about logic models and move towards drawing our logic model, writing about it? What I really want you all to focus on, and I've given you feedback on this for your needs assessment, is there is a place in your needs assessment. It's step 5 and point 3 on your needs assessment assignment. This is the point in the assignment where you take all of the data that you have collected and analyze, and you synthesize that together to understand the needs of your population of focus. And then you narrow in on a program or service or an evidence-based practice that you can now implement, knowing what you know about the needs of your population of focus. So it could be a new element or offering at your agency or organization that's been identified by the needs assessment. It could also be its own community-based organization meeting a new and distinct need among the recipient population or community. An example of that could be, let's say you've discovered that food insecurity is a big issue in the community that you're working with. Let's say you wanted to develop a food bank. On the other hand, an idea of a new element or offering could be a psychoeducational program. It could be an animal assisted therapy program. These are just some of the things that you are coming up with this semester that I think sound really exciting. So remember, new program or service, which could be an evidence-based practice or just a service that you found in the literature to be beneficial to your population of focus, or it could be a brand new community-based organization to fulfill the needs of your population of focus. So the next thing with our logic model assignment is we need to figure out how we are going to implement that service. What sort of resources do we need to implement it? What kind of inputs do we need to implement the service or offering or organization? And then what do we hope to change? What are the outputs? What do we hope to increase in the community? Let's say that's food insecurity. What do we hope to decrease in the community? Let's say that might be depression. Just giving some examples here that have happened over previous years. There is a very thorough assignment description under our assignments tab. I also have a pre-recorded video that takes you through the entire assignment, plus our rubric, assignment guidelines, and an exemplar logic model from previous years. So please refer to that. So more on formative and process evaluations. So just to reiterate what I talked about earlier, formative evaluations are employed to adjust and enhance interventions. The form in formative stands for the fact that we are actually using the style of evaluation to form programs. The methodology can vary. It really depends on the nature of program, the agency's preferences, because we're always working in partnership with community organizations, and the context of the evaluation request. So we have an example article to complement your reading from the Royce book this week. So complement the text with the reading to learn more. Process evaluation is different because, like I said earlier, it's about implementation. It can really be conducted anytime in the process of the project, even at the end. You're really determining why a program achieved or did not achieve its outcomes based on the quality and nature of the implementation process. So just to reiterate, we're going to later on focus on outcome evaluations, but this is the only week we are going to touch on formative and process evaluations. So outcome evaluations will come later, but keep it in the back of your mind. So this week in our textbook and reading and soft talk, we are also talking about mission statements. So how do we write mission and vision statements? This is something that's so important to community-based organizations. It's something that makes our program and services attracted to funders. It also should have verbiage in it that's not only aspirational, but that shows what we are actually able to output and what can be measured about the services that we offer at our agency. It's also providing clarity to people in and outside the organization about what we do to serve clients. So wrapping up for this week, please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'm really happy to set up a call, whatever you need. I've met with several of you throughout the semester, day or night. I want to make sure you all get through this course. So please stay in communication. And my parting words, you've accomplished so much this semester. Take a breath. Have confidence in yourself. I'm also going to be reaching out in the next week, and I'm going to update all of your grades I will send you a personal email letting you know what your total points are when I calculate all of our missing assignments, et cetera, soft chalks, all of that together, because I do not want any confusion about where you stand in this class entering into the midterm. Because if you do not like where you stand, we have to turn this around very quickly. Some of you are looking at graduation, and we really want to make sure we get everyone to the finish line. You all can do this. I know you're tired, but we can keep going and we will all get there. So everybody have a great week. Congrats on finishing your first big assignment, the needs assessment, and now we're moving on to the logic model. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.